In this episode, I have a Sony KDL52V5100. It shuts down, will not start. Turn on the power, the backlights come on for a few seconds, it goes off, and it shuts down after about 12 seconds. There is no blink code on this. I have no idea where we're going on this one yet. Let's take a look. Okay, light comes on. Okay, the backlights just came on. And now it's gone off. We'll see if there's any flashes of the power light. I don't see any blinking power light here. So that's it. It just shut down. We'll try turning it on again. You guys probably don't see the backlights come on because it's pretty bright in here, but I see the backlights come on. Okay, the backlights are on. And now they're off. And the set goes off. That's all this one does. So, that's a strange one. Well, as you can see, this TV is not exactly clean. It's got a lot of dust in there. Let's clean it up. So on this beast, this is what we have on this beast. We have our main power supply board here. And there's actually a sub power supply board here. This is part of the ballast for the backlight. So we have one inverter here for some of the backlights. We have another inverter here for the remainder of the backlights. This is our power supply, and our main signal board here, and a T-Con board at the top. This is one of the infamous Sony T-Con boards that feed the panel at the top. This was Sony's answer to the initial LCD failures when they had the T-Con board at the bottom. And what would happen is someone would come along and they'd spray Windex or something on the screen to clean it, and the liquid would run down the screen and into the tabs and cause failures of the tab connections and the tab ICs. So what did they do? They put the tabs on the top, thinking, well, we won't have to worry about liquid running down the front and causing a problem. What they neglected to consider was that these TVs have powerful backlights on them, and these powerful lights produce heat. So they had all the heat going up into the tabs along the top here, and we ended up seeing some panels that had cooked ICs just from the heat from the lamp. So it kind of backfired on them, and then they did a double take and put the T-Con back on the bottom again like everybody else. But that I don't believe is the problem with this set. This one here appears to have a shutdown failure of some type. So let's just turn it back on again. Or let's just watch what happens when I power it up. Okay, here the relay click. See, the backlights are coming on. I can see them here. And then they go off. And then the set shuts down. So time to start troubleshooting. Okay, I've been spending a bit of time on this set, and I haven't really been getting anywhere. I've gone and I've checked all of my voltages, and we don't have an overcurrent problem on any of the fluorescent tubes. What I'm inclined to think, I think I've got it nailed down to either a timing controller problem or a main board. We have a communication problem, I think, on this, and I'm going to try something. I'm just going to try reseating the FPC connectors here. So I'm just going to remove them. And just try reseating these connectors, because the set has to communicate with the panel, and if we lose communication between the panel and the T-Con and the main board, the set will go do a shutdown. I've checked my voltages, and my voltages are all correct, so I know we don't have a problem with the power supply. What I don't know right at this point is whether we have a timing controller problem or a problem on the main board. So But I'm just going to try reseating these FPCs before I pull the T-con board out and look at it. I've checked fuses and stuff, right? And we've got power getting to the board. And I should point out, when I turn the set on, I can hear a buzzing sound coming from the T-con board, like it's trying to start. So I'm just going to try, for the heck of it, and reseat these connectors and see whether one of these connectors has come loose. So I just reseat them like that, close the little gate, and we'll try powering up the set. And we see the backlights come on. Now the backlight will go out. Okay, the backlight went out. The backlight just came back on. I'm going to hook up a cable to this thing and see whether I get any picture. I'll just turn it around for you guys so you guys can see it. But it's on, and it wasn't staying on before. Now the only thing I have done nothing to the set other than I disconnected those two FPCs and reseated them. That's the only thing I've done. I haven't even taken out the T-con board. I haven't disconnected the LVDS. I checked my power supply. I had voltage coming up here, and all my voltages were correct. My 12, my 3.3, my 24 volts were correct, and I checked for excessive current on the tube balancing loops through these transformers. I checked both sides. I've already put the cover back on this side, but I did check both of those, looking to see if any of the tubes are drawing excessive current, and everything's balanced. So I knew we didn't have a backlight problem. I knew I didn't have a power supply problem. I wasn't sure whether I had a problem on the main board or a timing controller, but it looks like it was a communication problem between the T-con and the panel. I thought you guys might like to know, for checking the backlights, for checking for excessive current draw on the backlights. Now, we don't have a problem on this one, but I'll show you guys how to test that, just in case you're not aware. You have current sensing loops in these transformers. And each one of the transformers, I'll get a close-up here so you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, so what we're looking at here, this is your high current side, this is your high voltage side, this is your current sensing side. And each of these transformers go into a diode here. You can see the test pads here on either side. I'll point them out, like one there, or down to the next one, I guess here. Down here, these test lands, that's where you're going to test. And what you're looking for is consistent voltages between each of the transformers, or each of the sides of the diode. It's a dual diode. You put your meter in the AC voltage test mode, and you'll measure each side. And a good lamp will not draw an excessive amount of current. So we're getting about 0.16 volts. You see, 0.16, 0.2. You're all going to be at about the same, right? 0.4, that's not drawing a little more power, but it's not excessive. 0.2. When you fire the set up, if the set comes on for a few seconds, and this will only occur when the backlight's on, if you see this shoot up to, like, 1 or 2 volts, for example, that's drawing too much current and it will trigger the shutdown. Now if we go over to the DC side of the diode and put the meter in DC mode, it'll be the rail here that's on the cathode side. I think it's the cathode side of the diode. Anyway, you'll get a DC voltage, and like we got about 1.7 volts on here DC. If you've got a bad lamp and it's drawing too much current, this voltage will shoot way up, and that'll cause a balance shutdown. So that's what I did, is I just checked all of the transformers. I didn't do it on camera because it's time consuming, and I didn't find anything there, so that's why I didn't show you that while I was testing it. But I did test all of the lamps. I tested them all, but I didn't show you guys running a test because it was inconclusive, so I don't waste my time there. The same as I didn't show you testing all the voltages on the power supply. The voltages are all labeled here on the back of the power supply. the voltages are all labeled here on the connectors, so it's pretty easy to go through and test that. Again, I didn't show that because it was inconclusive. All my voltages were correct, and I had it kind of nailed down to either a problem on the main board over here or a problem on the timing controller board up top here. I didn't know whether it was on either one of those. It could have been a failure on either of those boards, but before condemning the board, as I just showed you, I figured I would disconnect the panel and reconnect the panel, because the T-Con board talks over the FPCs to all of the driver ICs that actually drive the panel. There's driver ICs all the way along the top and down the side of the panel to drive the actual rows and column driver ICs. And they communicate via the tabs here, the FPC tabs. So I think probably what we had on here was we had a miscommunication. When the set starts up and it goes through the self-test, it talks to the panel and the panel wasn't responding, and then the set went into shutdown. And it's important to note there was no flash code, there was no blink code. On these Sonys, when they shut down a lot of times, there'll be a blink code that will flash out a blink code. So like 12 blinks, I believe, is a lamp shutdown, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, there's different codes for different faults when the set does a self-diagnostic. This wasn't storing any codes. It wasn't flashing anything. It would turn on the power. You saw it at the beginning. The power light would turn on, then it would turn off, and that was it. It would run for 12 seconds and then shut down. So it was doing a self-test. It wasn't bringing the panel online. The set was shutting down. As you can see, it's still working. I'm going to turn it around now so you guys, I'm going to put this cover on first, and then I'll turn the set around. We'll take a look at it. I'm going to put it together and send this one home. This is actually my sister's set, so this is going to be a freebie, I guess, but have to keep my little sister off my case. She phoned me last night and she said, "My TV's broken, can you fix it?" And I said, well, probably. So I'll be a hero. Let me get this get the cover put back on here, and then we'll take a look and see how the picture looks on this one. Okay, the set's ready to go on. I'll hit the power button on the remote. I've got it plugged into my DVD player now. There we go, or my Blu-ray player. Play some internet content. I can't leave it up on the screen though, because, well, we know how it happens with that. But I've been hit with copyright infringement for putting on stuff that's been on YouTube before. So that's the set working. So there we go, the set's working. Looks great. Just playing something off of my Blu-ray player, just the stuff I downloaded off of YouTube a while back. Everything seems to be working on here. I've got picture, I've got sound. Looks great. So if you have a set like this and it's doing weird things, in this case, clicked on the power, backlights came on for a few seconds. You did not get the Bravia logo like you should get when you first turn the set on. Before you get a picture, as the set's starting, you should get the backlights on, you should get the Bravia. Right? And then the backlights go out. And then they come back on. That's the normal startup. There we go, now the backlights are back on. What this set was doing was, when it went into that first initial stage, I did not get the Bravia logo. I had the backlights come on, then they would go out, and then click, the relay would shut down. If you get that fault and you're not getting any flash on here, check the connections of the FPC. That's all it was on this one, was the flexible cables connecting the timing controller. I just opened them up, reseat them, problem solved. Check that out before you start digging into it, because you can save yourself a lot of time. Problem, loose FPC cable. We'll catch you later. Bye for now.